With Moho, you have the ability to not only draw characters, objects, scenes, whatever you want, but you can stylize them with different brush types. There's several brushes to choose from inside of Moho, and you can even create your own. But first, let's take a look at the basic settings for brushes, and then we can move on to some more advanced stuff. So here, we're looking at Kusi, and on the style panel on the top right, you'll notice that we have a white rectangle that says no brush. If I were to click on this, we gain access to all of the brushes currently installed in our content folder. And all these brushes here are built in by default. You can see there's quite a range to choose from, and if you click on any of these, you're able to come in here and alter this further. So we can choose if we want to align brush with curve, if you want a random order to this, if you want to merge your alphas. So let's say if you turn the alpha of the brush down and you're painting, one over the other with different strokes, if you want to merge those. You can do line boil, which will create the illusion that the line is boiling in a way, but more so, it looks like every frame the line's being drawn to kind of give it that sketchy frame by frame look. And that's why when you turn this on, you'll see that randomness interval is set to 1 frame. So if you wanted this to be more random or less random, you could go in and adjust that accordingly. And you have some other things here, such as jitter angle and spacing. You can see if I increase the spacing, it creates more spaces between the shapes that create that brush. You have size, variation, amplitude. So if you want different parts of the brush to be bigger, smaller, you can go in, and as you can see, as I'm adjusting this, we get more of a bubble effect in parts of the brush, which could be desirable depending on how you want to design. You have variation scale, and we have our angle drift as well. So the nice thing about this is, even if you're not entirely sure what each of these options might do, you can go in here and adjust them accordingly and see the preview here. And once you're good, you can click OK, and we'll need a new vector to test this out. But if I were to come in here, we could draw out using this new brush, perhaps come over here and adjust the line width a little bit so we can see what this is looking like. And as you can see, as we bring it up, we now have something that looks like that. And when you have your line work selected, you can also go in and adjust it. So if you wanted to change the brush as it is looking right now, we can go in here and make those adjustments. You can also, while you're working with these brushes, if you decide that, let's say we've created this brush and we really like it because of all the settings we adjusted here, and we want to reuse this brush as many times as we can, well, you can come down here and choose to save brush, and this will allow you to save a brush inside of your custom content folder that you set up when you initially boot up the software. So here we could just name this, let's just say Kusi brush, which I'm not sure why I would use this brush with her, but let's just pretend that's what we're going to do. And I'm just going to save this to my custom content folder. And once you do this, it'll ask you if you want to reload your brushes, because it won't appear until you reload the brushes. So let's just go ahead and reload. And now, not only is the brush right there, but if we click on our brushes again, you can see right down here, if we click on this, Kusi brush is available to us, and we're able to go in and reuse this and modify it and do whatever we need to do. So let's go ahead and just close out of this. And just one more thing to note, when you are working on your character, when it comes to working with the brushes, we can come in here at any time and let's say click on the sleeve, and let's say we decide that we want to add a brush to this. We can go over here and browse our brushes, and let's say we want to do this. You can see when I click, it automatically changes it. And that's another way you could go about this too. So if you wanted to go in and change this, perhaps add a line boil. So now you can see this line is moving a little bit as we're moving along, and then you could go in and apply this to other shapes if you wish, and do what you need to do with that. So what about multi-brushes? What are those, and why would we want to create one? Well, let's check that out. So for the multi-brush, we first want to locate the content folder, and this was set up initially when you started Moho. To access the content folder, go to File, and go down to Open Custom Content Folder. If you know where it is on your computer, you can always just browse to it as well. So here we have access to our stuff, and you'll see that we have brushes on the list. So let's double click on that. And here you can see that we have that Kusi brush that I already created right here, but we want to add a multi-brush. Now, a multi-brush will take multiple images and allow us to create the brush from them. And in order to do this, we first need to create a folder for the multi-brush. So Control-Shift-N, and we can name this brush whatever we wish. In this case, I'm just going to name it Planets, and then hit Enter. Now, we can come back here to my tutorial folder here, and I want to locate my multi-brush assets and just grab these 3 planets. So I'm just going to copy these images, come back here to my stuff, go into my brushes for my content folder, and inside there we have plants. So we can go in there and paste those in just like that. And now we're going to reload Moho, and we should be able to see this brush within the style panel. So I'm in Moho, I'm going to create just a new document here and grab the freehand tool, come over here to no brush. And if we scroll down here, you'll see that we have access right here to what looks to be Jupiter. And if we click on this, and you can see that we have something going on here, we can come in and start to adjust this more and more. You can see as I space this out, we have the planets looking just like that. We can adjust the size variation if we want as well. And as you can see, we can go in here and make all these changes just like we were before. So you can go in there and do all this. And once you're good, you can click OK. And just one more thing to note, anything that has 3 dots on your brush panel here indicates that it is in fact a multi-brush. So it has more than one image making up the brush. And you can see right here our planets are definitely doing that. So if we go ahead and click OK, I can come in here and start drawing. And let's just take this and adjust the stroke. And you can see here that we have planets, or something that looks close to it. So go in here and we can keep drawing out, and we can adjust this however we see fit. But when it comes to creating brushes, those are the steps that you need to take.